Hi everyone, welcome. I am here to share with you our next mini project. I believe it would be number 6. I've lost count. I've also lost count of how many days we've been stuck in home. In home? Oh man, don't worry. Guess what? I have a whole reel of bloopers coming toward you because it is just ridiculous how many times I've had to redo these. Okay, so your next mini project is going to be a keepsake, an Athenian keepsake. You will start by reading chapter 29, The Golden Age of Athens. Remember, that does not mean they were all covered in gold. However, gold was a very large part of it because they liked it. But you are going to read it or listen because I have also recorded myself reading the chapter to you. You will take diligent notes, however you'd like to do that, in your history journal or on a Google Doc. Share it with me. You can do it however you'd like, visual notes, Cornell notes, bullet point notes, the essay format, however you want to do it. And make sure those are submitted with the project. So the project itself, the idea is that you are selecting, as in you pretend that as this social scientist who is working as a Greek curator, museum curator, you have found this golden age keepsake. And a keepsake would be something that somebody keeps safe and in their possession to remember something, like so a remembrance of something. So you're going to create it. You're going to pretend like you didn't, but you're going to create something that was found from that time period to show off Athens' artistic and cultural beautification, how they were the center of Greece at this time. It could be like a flyer that was selling all of these amazing things that they did. Maybe you have one big one that just sells the idea of going to Athens with like the different parts of their artistic and cultural world. So their religion, their buildings, their architecture, their sculpture, and their philosophy, their theater, all of that. So maybe it's one big flyer that talks about all the different parts. Maybe it's mini flyers, like you've got a bunch of little flyers for each one, or maybe it's an advertisement for those things, or maybe you have a newspaper article or like the front page of a newspaper that talks about different things going on. So I'm going to show you a few in a minute. There are plenty of other keepsakes that you could think of, like ticket stubs for different events in Athens. All sorts of different ideas. You can even make 3D models of things if you have that equipment at home. Like I have had students who have at home 3D printers and they've made things. The problem is you need to have something for each section. So you're going to have to show, and I read it to you, but the idea of their religion, their architecture, the sculpture, theater or drama, and then philosophy, and then sports. So something from each of those. So I have plenty of examples. Give me a second. This is going to be the best video yet. I'm getting better at these. I know my 5th and 6th period will be proud of this. Okay, so you can make, I have a lot of different examples of things that students have made in the past. So this is an example of one of many, they only let me keep one because they were so amazing, of many different like little ticket stubs that you would have to go to these different events to show the different types of culture that they had during that time. So this was for the Athenian Games, which I always have a hard time with that word. I have to slow down to say it. And so on the front it has like a picture of some men running and has the title, and then on the back it has like just a little quick synopsis about thank you for coming to the games, we hope you enjoyed, and then it lists like a bunch of things that they did, so it gives us information about the games. This is kind of a cool idea. I have ticket stubs. It's like as if you go to the movies and they give you have the paper ticket and they rip part of it and they give you the rest, or if you go to like a sporting event, they will have something like that. So this person did one for each subject. So we have the games, we have philosophy, we have religion, I think this is another religious one, voting, and one of these must have been the theater. And then this one's sculpture. And on the back of each one, it just explains about each one of those topics. So I like that idea. This was another kind of same variation, but it's all in Greek. Please don't do it all in Greek. I cannot grade you on that. I'm not going to Google Translate it for you. I did have different ways of doing this. We have newspapers, so it would be like one page, and there are lots of newspaper templates on Google and other platforms, and you would include something for each type of topic. So this one has like a food recipe, which is just kind of a little added fun, talking about the death of Socrates, talking about fashion, the games, a little flyer about the games coming up. This one is another example of a newspaper, and it's two-sided. So these are all aged because during that time period, obviously, if they had a newspaper and you found it and it was still intact, it would look aged. Don't mind the underline. We used to have them underline things for facts, but that's okay. Lots of fun little added ads like a newspaper. I will have pictures of these up online too, so you can look at them a little closer. Then we have more of like a flyer or an advertisement to go to Athens, where it talks about the different places and has like a little image and a little write-up. And it's almost like a travel poster, like a miniature travel poster. When people would go to the airports years and years and years ago, it would talk about like Pan Am, and it would have a big flyer or poster that showed all the places they traveled to. This is kind of like that, like a travel poster. This one is very similar to that one, but they have their facts coming out on the side because you do need to include some kind of facts about it. Just images alone is not enough information to show me that you know what to do or what you've learned. This one's another one. This one has a mix of both drawing and print, which is nice, or typed up print. The other ideas that I have some examples of, I had a couple students in the past write a little family diary that was found, and it was like each family member wrote about something that they had gone and done. So like maybe a family member went to the games, maybe a family member was a theater actor, maybe a family member was a sculptor, and so they would talk about those different things as if their family collected these messages to each other. I have two of those. This is another one where they wrote it by hand. This one. Yeah, this is also just typed up. Like find a cursive font. I think that's it. I do have some other maps not maps, posters and things that I can upload pictures of for you to help you. But the idea is you need to cover all the topics from the chapter that prove that they were the artistic and cultural center of Greece during this time period. I'm talking Athens. And you need to be able to make sure you're explaining about those. So not just like, here's a ticket stub from the games. Actually have some kind of words that describe what they did at the games, why they were important, and thinking of those ways of showing your historical knowledge, your knowledge of history. So I will have a checkoff list for you. I'll have the chapter PDF. I will have the chapter reading where I've read it to you. I will have this lovely video for you to like and then subscribe to my channel. Just kidding. And you will have some example pictures. I might even put up some Pan Am old example posters. Oh, there was one other thing that you can do that some students have done in the past. The only difference about this little mini project idea for the keepsake is that it would be more of a created item for a museum display, not something that was found historically, but the idea of a travel brochure. So you would make it look like something that people would go now to travel to Athens, and talking about what they had back then and places you could go visit today that are more of just historical landmarks to go visit. But that would work as well, and I'll have a picture example of this for you. It's a lot of writing, but you can also find a template for this and just kind of type it up and put some pictures in there. That works as well, okay? So I'm going to sign off, and good luck with your keepsake making, and enjoy. Thanks.